Hello, I'm Ronnie Eldridge, and welcome to Eldridge and Company. My guest, Marti Speranza Wong, ran for the city council 4 years ago, and sadly, she didn't win. But instead, she went out and co-founded Amplify Her, an organization to encourage and help other women run for public office. And she also became a mother of twins. But hello, hello, Marti, and how are you?
Hi, Ronnie. Thank you so much for having me back on your program. It's wonderful to see you.
So it's amazing at the organization you've built, right? I mean, it's just very encouraging to see that women are volunteering and women are working and women are running, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we're so encouraged to see the amount of support that we've gotten over the last now 3 years that we've been in existence. We launched in 2018 with a slate of amazing progressive women. Many of them were challenging incumbents. Women like Catalina Cruz and Jessica Ramos, Alessandra Biaggi, all now representing us in Albany and doing excellent work there. So we got off to a strong start. And as you know, this year is such a huge opportunity for voters in New York City to change representation here in the city. We think of New York as being so progressive, but we have still such an issue with underrepresentation of women. We're about to elect the 110th mayor. All 109 have been men to date. In our city council, there are only 14 women serving out of the 51 members. So our work is certainly cut out for us.
How many candidates are you working for?
So this cycle, we are supporting 7 candidates. So it's our biggest slate to date, 6 of them running for city council, and we've endorsed Maya Wiley for mayor. So we're really excited about, these women that have earned our endorsement, but also to see that there's over 150 women across the city running for city council.
Isn't that incredible? 150 candidates. It really is. It's just, it's something. I can't believe it almost. Way back in the 70s, I was the director of the New York State Commission for Women, Division for Women in Mario Cuomo's office. And I had to fight to convince people that women had a different perspective of public policy. And in that time, I mean, there were very few women around. Has that become an accepted fact that women are in fact different from men holding public office, that women holding public office?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, a study after study shows that women legislate differently. So it isn't just an issue of getting women because it's nice to have representation. They actually bring a different approach. They prioritize legislation that not only benefits women and children, but families. So things like increasing paid sick leave, prosecuting violence against women. So, women in office benefits not just women, but communities in general. So it's really important to have, to ensure women have a seat at the table. And I think you also have seen in democratic politics recently, both at the state level and at the city level, a culture that is not always as, let's say, respectful of women as it should be.
It's never been respectful of women.
And it's the issues that you've seen throughout your career. They unfortunately in 2021, here we are still battling that. So until women are in positions of power, I think we'll continue to see this this culture that can be very challenging for women.
When you say that, I mean, who are the people who are really questioning whether more women shouldn't be in public office?
I mean, it's interesting you bring this up, right? Because 61% of primary voters are women, which is 52% of New Yorkers are women. So women are showing up at the polls. Why don't we see that reflected then in women serving in elected office? I think there's a few things at play. One of them being that whatever you want to call it, the establishment, the machine, whatever power apparatus is there, often, I mean, we know today is run by men for the most part, even within the Democratic Party. And so when there's sort of an anointed one, a candidate that's being pushed through that gets the endorsements and so forth, it's really difficult for women candidates to overcome that. So oftentimes those candidates that get the institutional support are the ones that are seen as the best candidate because they're seen the most, they have a list of endorsements and so forth. So women often, when they're running campaigns, are sort of dealing with this this playing field that's not level. And we see this not just in terms of endorsements and support, but funding as well. So, it's interesting because, of course, in New York City, we have the campaign finance program, which is wonderful and certainly works to level the playing field. And if you look at what's happened, even more recently with campaign contribution limits for individuals being decreased, with the match being increased, there's so much that's being done in the system that serves to really level the playing field. And yet the outside spending that's happening in campaigns is still tipping the scales. I mean, what we saw in 2013, so in the last citywide election cycle, there was $16 million of outside spending that was done. Half of that was going to the mayoral race. This cycle, obviously, the numbers will be much larger than that. And so I've always seen this connection between, the Citizens United decision that was made in 2010, where restrictions on this outside spending, was lifted. And you look at in New York City, women's representation, which actually peaked in 2009. A lot of people don't realize that, back then we had 18 women in council. And so basically over the last decade, you've seen women fall off.
Are the unions as supportive of women as they are of men?
No, so actually in terms of PAC spending, both PACs that are run by business organizations and unions do tend to support male candidates over female candidates. There was a study that was showing also that PACs in general, Common Cause did a study that showed PACs in general favor male candidates. And then if we look at the 2018 cycle, looking nationally, but I think these rules will apply. We'll see this play out here in the city, but it was actually 74% of PAC money that was going towards male candidates. So it's an issue in the city, despite this campaign finance program, that it's wonderful that everyone's capped and supposedly are playing with the same amount of money in these campaigns. But when IEs and PACs come in and tip the scale, it often is to the detriment of the women in those races. So Amplify Her actually decided this year to get an IE off the ground. So this was the first opportunity we had to, in addition to boots on the ground, which has always been our bread and butter and what we do for our endorsed candidates, mobilize volunteers around the city, get them plugged into these campaigns. This year, we were also able to do much more on our candidates' behalf because of our new structure. So, we're just getting off the ground with this, but we're excited about the possibilities because it is an opportunity to provide more assistance to these fantastic candidates that have all of the ingredients for an amazing campaign, but when you're outspent, it's obviously challenging to get your name out there.
Explain the structure of the organization. Is there a permanent staff?
So our 501c4, which has existed since our inception, was basically 100% volunteer run, volunteer everything. And that was a beautiful thing, and continues to be, because people believe in this and they want to, donate their time and talent. Obviously, the last year has introduced so many new challenges for people in terms of COVID, and especially women handling additional responsibilities as it pertains to caregiving, homeschooling, people working extra jobs because they're stretched thin. And it came to the point where we realized as an organization, we need to live our values. The reality is that a lot of organizations, campaigns among them, are run through the donated labor of women, often women of color. And so, so we decided we need to figure this out. We need to make sure it's wonderful that people want to, volunteer their time, but let's figure out how to make sure people are compensated. And that was actually how we, initially came upon the IE structure, because we're doing campaign work and it would be a donation. And so we'd hit that same limit. And so with the IE structure, then we could actually not only pay our organizers, but we can actually do so much more for our candidates. So this cycle, we were able to, run digital ads, we put out mail, all of this to, help our endorsed candidates in their races. It's a different structure altogether, because as an IE, we can't coordinate with the campaign. So in the past, we've essentially been part of the field operation of these campaigns. And for a lot of us, that's a lot of the fun, is getting to know the candidate and really be plugged into the field operation. So we're this cycle approaching very differently, but where there's challenges, sometimes there's opportunity. We, because we're running our own field, we have our own universe of voters. We're reaching out to women. We're trying to figure out who are the women who, are registered Democrats, do vote, might not be the most regular voters, maybe need a little nudge, and perhaps, educating those voters about the challenge we have in New York City with underrepresentation of women. We can encourage them to get out to the polls. I think this was the next step in the evolution of our organization, just knowing the important role that money plays, whether we like it or not, in campaigns. And most of the candidates, I shouldn't say most, all of the candidates we've supported are grassroots candidates. And so, they're generally disadvantaged when it comes to fundraising. A lot of them are coming from non-traditional backgrounds, school teacher, working at a nonprofit, and coming into public service really from a desire to help their community. And so anything we can do to assist in that effort, I think, is worth exploring. So we're excited about this stage.
So are you a full-time person working on it?
I am, yes, I am a full-time, and now we have a full-time field director. So she was brought in when we, started the IE structure. So we have someone who's thinking only about reaching voters, where we go, how we reach them, and we're doing, daily actions. So we have people citywide, door knocking, phone banking, and so it's been a big undertaking. It's a big step in our development. We haven't taken on this much before, but I hope it, sets us up for future cycles, because of course, as soon as the city elections are over, we'll be shifting and thinking about what's happening in Albany with the state Senate and state assembly seats, and likely Cuomo will be challenged too in the coming years. So so there'll be a lot of work ahead.
Do you have a headquarters?
No, we don't have a headquarters. I mean, as it turns out, we were actually so grateful that the vaccine rollout has been as smooth as it has this spring, that we could actually get out and canvass. So we have been doing that. Most of our work is done remotely, but when this, cycle started, it was still unclear if we'd be able to do the boots on the ground that we're really sort of known for and is really the heart of the organization. We certainly didn't want to put anyone, voters or volunteers or anyone in harm's way by getting out. But thankfully, just in the last couple months, we've turned a corner and we're able to do that important work. There's nothing more compelling, right, for a voter than to have someone come to their door and say, this is why I believe in a candidate, and be able to just answer the questions face to face.
So do you help a candidate that you are supporting help develop positions and programs?
We basically, as candidates come out and launch their campaigns, we get to know them, get to know their platforms, and really are selective and focused about. I mean, even in this cycle, there's 35 council seats. We selected 6. We're looking at finding those women that we believe are really transformational in terms of what they would bring to the office. We're also looking for districts where we feel we can make an impact. I'll give you an example. I mean, one of our former borough directors for Queens is now a candidate for city council in Queens. Her name is Felicia Singh. She's fantastic. She is running to flip the last remaining Republican city council district in Queens blue. And so she, this is, obviously an important undertaking for Democrats. We hope she'll get through the primary, of course, but this will be a race that will continue through the general in the fall. So, a race like that presents a unique opportunity, and, the stakes are incredibly high. So for us, that's one, that became a priority, and I think will in the coming months.
Are you an all year round organization? I mean, your volunteers, do they help select the candidates? Are they part of the whole organization? Is that what I haven't really gotten?
Yes.
So if I
our whole setup, and it's unique, and it's one of the things I love most about Amplify Her, because I think it sets us apart. Our process for endorsements is that everyone who is a voting member, and you become a voting member by volunteering. So it's not a huge lift. It's 10 hours over the course of an entire year. Most of our canvases and phone banks are a couple of hours. So if you're coming out like every other month, getting out there, talking to your neighbors, supporting these progressive women, then you can weigh in on the future on the next slate. And the nice thing about the process is we've used ranked choice voting for years now. And so it's been kind of, for us, it's really been a great tool, and it will be interesting to see how it plays out in these elections on the 22nd. But for us, I feel like it's been very helpful and gotten us to very strong results in terms of the slate we end up with.
Uh-huh.
And we really, we try to really get to know the candidates. So we don't just do, here's a questionnaire, fill it out. We have forums, we have presentations, we have organizers all around the city. So, people are very kind of plugged into what's happening, the work these candidates have done in the past, and that's helped inform the process as well. But yeah, it isn't one of those situations where it's like, okay, pay, a membership fee and now you get a vote. We really want people to, so we want to know they care. Yeah.
It's more like the old political caucus, women's political caucus, right? It's an organization that meets on a regular basis, not just for an election, and works. Is that? Okay.
That's exactly right.
I see that you have borough coordinators.
Yes.
So do the different borough people meet separately, or does everybody come together?
They do. It's nice, I think, for many of us that are in the political world to have that almost continuity. I know people, I know kind of the activity, and now with the IE structure, we even have consistency across the campaigns. It used to be, depending on what campaign we were plugged in with, it might be different messaging, it might be a different, system we're using for phone banking or canvassing. And now we have this consistent experience because we're doing the field operation internally. And I think that's helpful as well for volunteer engagement, and kind of keeping that going, keeping the momentum between election cycles.
So you've had all this political experience. I mean, not only in party offices and then running as a candidate. This sounds as if it might be the most exciting of your projects, of your experience.
Well, I feel so grateful because, it was a group of women. We came together, we decided to do this, and many of us had been, I guess really all of us had been involved in local politics in different ways, whether we were in a political club or, doing a party position like state committee or district leader, or having run for office or worked on other campaigns. And so everyone had their own perspectives, right, they were bringing in. But I think a common thread through this, no matter what part of the city, we were working in or in what capacity, it was always a frustration with, just a cycle after cycle, just seeing the same sorts of candidates sort of pushed through, and wondering why does this continue to happen? What can we do to change it? And in launching, and now having been active for a few years with this organization, I do think it's something, a sentiment that's broadly shared, that women, once they realize, that we're so underrepresented. I mean, Helen Rosenthal a few years ago did some research. She looked at like the 100 most populous cities in America in their municipal legislatures, and the representation of women. It was like 34%. You probably saw this, right? 34. So it was bad already. And New York City, we're 27% right now with 14 councilmen. So we're not even, like, the national average is already low. And then we're
even lower.
New York City, we're below average significantly. So, so I think there's people who want to do something to make this better.
And you're really facilitating a revolution. So we're at the end of the program, but we're going to look forward to talking to you before the November elections.
Wonderful.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you so much, Ronnie.
Thank
It was a pleasure to be here.
Marti.
Thank you.